Alright guys, welcome back to another Patreon request, and this one comes from Bill McLaughlin. And he's asking me to rank my favorite Dracula actors. But as always, if you guys would like to have a Patreon request done, just hit the link below, head on over to my Patreon where you guys can start sending me requests for videos to do here on YouTube. It's specifically the third tier, so you guys can go to the third tier and then that'll give you access to all the other stuff, along with giving you access to request videos to do here on YouTube. But anyway, let's get into it. Now, the problem with ranking Dracula actors is that there's so many. There's so many goddamn Dracula actors that it's really hard to focus on just the one. It is really hard just to focus on simply one. So the criteria is we're not going to do every fucking Dracula movie. We are in no way, shape, or form going to do every single Dracula movie in the series. We're not going to do every Dracula movie in the series. We're not going to do every Dracula movie known to mankind. What we're going to focus on for this one is basically what we're going to focus on specifically the best known Dracula films. That's what we're going to do this time around, is focus on the best known of those franchises. So we're going to talk about those, and I'm also going to sprinkle in a few lesser Dracula movies and actors in there too that have their own iconic spin. So also for reference, even though these Draculas I'm going to reference are while I will say they are the least, it doesn't mean I hate them. Well, there's a few I want to mention, but of course we're going to talk about the big three and where they rank. But I want to talk about some other ones that have some least level, have some lesser value, but have merits in their own right, if that makes any sense. God, it'd be so much easier just to rank the fucking like top 10 movie or something. Jesus. The problem is when you say Dracula actors, everyone. I know. It's like we're just here for the big three, but we will get to them in a moment. That's where the real ranking is. But for right now, let's kind of go through some ones that are out there. Like let's go for some ones that are out there already. Starting off with the Jack Palance Dracula. The Jack Palance Dracula is nothing really special. In fact, I feel like the Coppola movie took a lot from that movie. And Jack Palance is a great actor. He's not a good Dracula. He's not very convincing. He's not physically imposing. I've watched that movie all of 4 times, and I'm still like, eh. I'm just sitting here like, man, this does not Jack Palance, great actor, but he is not a Dracula. He is not. He's not imposing. He doesn't give off this sense of, you know, there's a monster behind the mask of this man. There's none of that here. So he's kind of bottom tier for me. Following that is the Frank Langella Dracula. Well, the movie itself, I think, is very well made, and it's a decent, if not underrated, Dracula film. I will say Frank Langella himself feels like he doesn't want to be there. It really does feel like Frank Langella's Dracula is just kind of going through the motions. Is the movie? I'm now not to talk about the movie. We're not here to talk about the movie itself. A lot of the other stuff that goes on in the movie is very well done and very well put together. Langella himself just does not feel like an imposing threat, just like with Palance. The only thing that he has a little more is that there are some good scenes with him, and I think that's more direction than anything else. Not to say those movies are bad, I'm just saying, like, Dracula himself is a weak point. That's just me, though. As for another Dracula performance, I would put lower, but this one I have fun with. Like, this is a Dracula I have absolute fun with, and that's the Dracula from Van Helsing. Over the top, it's like he's eating a giant cheese sandwich with every bite, and we're biting along with him. Is it a good performance? God, no. Is it a fun performance? Yeah, it's like Scott Summers movies. It's funny because he's almost like a over-the-top Bond villain, really. So I appreciate it for that. Is it a good performance? No, but it's fun as shit. So let's move through that. Let's move on to another Dracula performance I think is good, but isn't a bad movie. So this one is Thomas Kretschmann, who most of you guys would know best as Baron von Strucker and Captain Engelhorn from King Kong. Thomas Kretschmann is a German-American actor. Whenever you need like he's a very underrated actor, honestly. But this is Thomas Kretschmann playing Dracula in Dario Argento's Dracula 3D. If you've ever seen that movie, you can go on Tubi right now and watch it, and you will go, This is a Argento movie? This? What? I don't understand how? There's some stuff in there, I'll tell you that. I'm not going to tell you what, you just need to watch it for yourself, and you will still be like, how the fuck is this an Argento movie? But Thomas Kretschmann, regardless, has a very good performance in there. He's definitely one of the stronger points of that movie. And I feel like he would have killed it in a better script and a better Dracula film. He would do so, like, I think he would be he's this very, like, imposing, but also, like, you can see the seductiveness of him. So again, he's definitely thank God, like, this movie has a good Dracula in it, and he is a very solid actor. There's some great scenes with him. But that movie, and that's why I think I'm giving it that. If I was ranking the movies, that would definitely be bottom tier. But if we're going by Dracula performances, yeah, that one goes a little higher. Now, let's talk about, those are just a few. Now let's get into the actual ranking. And keep in mind, these three actors, you know what I'm talking about. These three actors all have strengths, and I love all three actors. So keep that in mind. I'm not saying this one sucks. I'm not saying any one of them suck. I'm just saying these three actors right here, with these three actors and their performances, are the GOATs. But this is just how I rank them from least favorite to favorite. And keep in mind, when I say least favorite, I mean like the one above it is a personal preference of mine. And as always, if you guys want to put your rankings in the Dracula for films, just comment below. Like, I'm always excited to hear your rankings. So, let's talk about the first one here, Gary Oldman. I'm already getting the torches and pitchforks for this one. Gary Oldman is like I said, all of them are solid performances. And Gary Oldman, there's a reason why when we talk about the big three for Dracula actors, Oldman is one of them. He has this somberness to him, but there's a seductive evil to him. Like, every tone, every motion he does, there is brutality as well as just charisma to it as well. Whether he looked like an old man or a warrior or, you know, a dapper human being, there's just a monster everywhere you look. Yeah, solid, just absolutely solid performance. Next up, Bela Lugosi. I know. Really? Bela Lugosi? Well, the thing of it is that Bela is the GOAT. You know, Bela is the originator. Every Dracula you will ever see in your life has some monochrome of Lugosi in their performance. Lugosi is immortal with that role. You cannot think of that character without thinking of Lugosi. Charisma, terror, and just oozing with just this evil that is so, like, there's a control in that evil, you know? So, yeah. So that just leaves Christopher Lee, a man who arguably was Dracula longer than Lugosi. Now, now keep in mind, I love Lugosi, I love Oldman, but here's the reason why I think Christopher Lee is the best Dracula. That man has, first off, he's played Dracula more than anyone else. But the other factor is he really does have this, there's like this primal animosity here. There's like something animalistic in there, and you can see it, and he's just, he's physically imposing, and he's charismatic, as well as just straight up, he can be brutal one second and charismatic the next. But no matter what, he is always this scheming, just dangerous animal lurking in the shadows and waiting to rip your throat out. It is very hard, and there is no wrong answer here for favorite Dracula actors when it comes to the big three. But there's those three, and then there's the rest. There's a reason for that. Oldman, Lugosi, and Lee are the ones who like everyone from here on out have taken, whenever you play Dracula, you are even Nick Cage, who I would even say was a fun I would put in the fun movie Dracula. I forgot to rank. Forgot to put Nick Cage in this list, but I'm putting him in here right now. Nick Cage. It's a good. I liked Renfield, and because I understood what they were trying to go for. So to have that Dracula, because even he even admitted he took bits and pieces from Lugosi, Oldman, and Lee because he loved all those performances. So every Dracula, from one point or another, all take pieces from those three. So it doesn't matter where you rank them, because they're all the right answer. And again, just because I ranked one lower or higher than the other doesn't mean I don't like the other ones. It's just really hard. But anyway, so you guys tell me in the comments below, what are your rankings for Dracula actors? What are your favorite and least favorite? I know we can't name every Dracula film, but just name the ones that really stick out to you and where the big three stand for you. Anyway, so once again, I'd like to thank Bill McLaughlin for this Patreon request, and other than that, hope you all enjoyed this. I'm Mr. Multiverse. I'll see you next time in the Multiverse.